Florida Satellite Studio. 12:30 a.m. Caribbean Satellite Studio. 1 o'clock a.m. Orange County, California Satellite Studio. 1:30 a.m. San Diego, California Satellite Studio. Stay tuned for more exciting programs only here on INCRadio.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to INCRadio Florida. Today is, of course, Saturday, January 20th here on the East Coast of the United States, which actually means in the Philippines, it's already 4 minutes after midnight there on Sunday, January 21st. And no matter what time zone you happen to be in, we're so very grateful that you were able to join us. And today we're very excited to bring you a show that's going to talk about something that we all need to do or start considering here in Florida because it's getting so cold. It's how do you enjoy your vacations? And we're going to be talking about that with Brother Jim and Sister Charisse here in just a minute. But before we get started, I want to go ahead and toss it to Brother Jim up there in Pensacola for our greetings to our international audience. Good morning, Brother Jim. A chilly morning, right? For you?
It still is, but I cannot complain knowing that I have plenty of friends further north. So it makes me appreciate that I made the choice to go down here to Florida. But so certainly for us, it's a bit chilly, but we're going to warm up a little bit next week. And I'm excited for that. I'm also excited that all of you have joined us today. Buenos dias, buenas tardes, maganda gabi. Is that how you say?
Hey, not bad at all.
I'm trying to expand. Bonjour, and thank you all so much for joining us today. We especially appreciate when you let us know where you're viewing from. It's a thrill to me to see all the different locations across the world and knowing that there's brethren everywhere, and we want to know where you are viewing from, and we love to see your greetings. So thank you so much for joining us today. Of course, to have a show, an international show, we always have to acknowledge all those that make it possible. And for that, I'm going to my neighbor over across town, Sister Charisse. Good morning, Sister Charisse. Oh, you're on mute.
There, I got it. Good morning, everyone. So sorry about that. I was on mute. I do apologize. But I wanted to greet everyone. Yes, Sister Charisse here over in Pensacola. Just like Brother Jim said, it is very cold. So I do hope that all of our viewers out there are doing their best to stay warm, especially if you're here in Florida or here in Pensacola and you're watching. I do hope that everyone's staying warm and that with this type of weather that's going on, it is still winter time. It is still flu season. I hope that everyone has tuned into that one episode that I did talking about how to stay prepared for cold, how to stay prepared for flu. So please stay hydrated, take your vitamins, make sure that you are resting up those bodies to get those immune systems nice and strong. That way everybody can be healthy and perfectly safe this winter. That's all I could possibly wish for all of our amazing viewers. And before I definitely kick it off, we always want to extend our greetings to all of those who make this show happen, because without them, we wouldn't have an INCRadio Florida. So we definitely wanted to say thank you to our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo Vivanalo, our SEBC CEO and CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, our station manager, Brother Arnel Solano, our executive producer, Brother Manly Undaya, and here in the District of Florida, this wouldn't be possible without our beloved district minister, Brother Marlon Balaslan, our assistant district minister, Brother Carlitos Medina, and our CFO overseer, Brother Mark Bernal. And before I forget, we definitely have to say thank you to our brother tech in the Philippines. He's there behind the scenes in the studio. We are so thankful for you. Thank you so much for helping us do this great show, because we have these amazing viewers that we get to tune into and see every Saturday. And ways to stay connected. I say it all the time, and I do hope that everyone has already downloaded the official INC Radio mobile app on their Android and iOS devices. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel on INC Radio Florida. You can also click on Live Now. That's how you're able to watch us, view us now, or you can watch all of our previous episodes if you YouTube search INC Radio. There are so many episodes there for you to tune into and watch, and definitely all of the shows that you've seen us in the past. Like I said, the flu one, make sure you tune into that one as well. That way you can stay perfectly healthy and strong this winter. And let's go ahead and get our show kicked off. I'm going to send it right back over to Brother Rob. Good morning, Brother Rob.
Hey, good morning, Sister Sharice, and thanks so much for giving us all of those tips on how it is that you could stay connected, because we definitely enjoy and appreciate each and every one of you that tune in every week to watch us or listen to us over the air, because this is honestly one of the ways that we stay connected with you, especially if you can go ahead and send us your comments and your love through the chats. Please use the chat feature in the channel that you happen to be using. And as Sister Cherie said, if you're watching us on YouTube, we want to definitely blow up the chat. So please continue to send us your shout outs. Tell us where you're from, hashtag your congregation. And most importantly, we love to get your feedback on what we're going to be talking about today, because this is something Brother Jim and I talked right before the show that we both wish we were on a vacation right now. Because I think as Floridians, all three of us, we are over this cold. we're done. It's it's been for us down here in the 50s. It's dropped to the 40s. It's actually, Brother Jim, for you, I think it's dropped even lower than that, right?
Yeah. We've actually had some nights in the teens, and
Oh, wow.
school was canceled because it was so cold one morning. So I was amazed at that. Of course, growing up in the Midwest, I was a little skeptical about canceling school when I used to trudge through the snow to get to school, and they're canceling it here, you know. But you know, everybody gets acclimated, right, to different weather, and it certainly has been cold, and I'm realizing now that I don't have a lot of winter clothes anymore.
Well, you
I
moved
get,
to Florida and you think that
yes.
I don't need them, right? Because Sister Sharice, you're from up north, right?
I am. And this weather is very reminiscent of the DMV, Florida weather that I left behind like 9 years ago. So it's bringing back a lot of memories. I'm very happy that Brother Eric did not get rid of one of my winter coats. He wanted to donate it. And I said, you know what? Let me just hold on to it. We are close to Alabama. I just might need it. So, yes, I'm going to be definitely wearing that tomorrow for church service because it is supposed to be in the 30s tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's
If
very,
if
very
that continues, then we may just have to just like break off everybody just west of Tallahassee and just make you guys part of like Georgia or Alabama, because it is not reminiscent of Florida weather. So
no, it's
we're
not. And
hoping
you
it
know, the
warms up.
other day was actually flurrying here. I don't know, Brother Jim, if you saw it. I saw it when I was dropping off my son at school. I said, is that flurries? And
Yeah.
it was. It was
Oh
flurries coming
man.
down.
Well, all this talk about cold weather, I think just really is a great precursor to our topic for today, because if there's one thing we can all appreciate having moved down here to Florida, that's enjoying what's supposed to be all of that beautiful sunshine weather that we're experiencing most of the time. I mean, we talk about the winters, and they talk about Floridians, we've started to weaken our blood has gotten thinner, right? I think that's a running joke amongst many, because they say that, down here we can't handle the cold anymore. Well, that's why we moved to Florida. But, of course, when we do have to face those harsh 40, 50-degree winters here in Florida, we always have an option. And that's, of course, to go on vacation. So today, what we wanted to talk about is, what is your favorite way that you go on vacation? So we're going to find out about what your style is on today's topic. So today's topic is to cruise or not to cruise. And we're really excited about this, because this is part of a series that we're going to be doing here on INC Radio Florida, because, we all work hard, some of us who aren't retired yet, at least. And then we want to be able to enjoy that time off. So we're going to be talking through a series of topics around what is your vacation style. And your vacation style, of course, varies, because People have different ways they want to go on vacation. You've got people who want to be active. You've got people who just want to kind of veg out inside a hotel room or someplace where they just want some peace and quiet, cuddle up next to a good book, and just enjoy their peaceful time. So, throughout this series, we're going to be talking about different things. And today's topic, because this is one that I think is very, very polarizing, I think is the right word to use, Brother Jim, because you've got people who love it, people who don't. But is it, do you like to cruise or do you not like to cruise? And of course, today we're going to be talking from both sides of the stage, because Brother Jim is one who likes to be adventurous and go out and explore, and of course, would prefer to not be confined to a metal floating object. Whereas, as I actually and my wife Lulu, we enjoy cruises and try to mix in a few things. But overall, we enjoy cruising and have gotten to appreciate it more and more. So we're going to talk about to cruise or not to cruise. And first of all, before we get started, I wanted to just talk about some of our more recent vacations or vacations that really, really uh, resonated with us. And Brother Jim, I think we're going to start with you with your all-inclusive resort experience. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, these are some pictures from what they call the Mayan Riviera, and it's down around Cancun. And uh, it's been the place that if I'm going on a resort, if I really want a special getaway, I love to go down here. The weather is just so nice, and I like history, and you can see there's a lot of Mayan ruins. There's a lot of activities. I love the water. There's beautiful crystal clear water, beautiful white sand beaches, and of course I love, in any kind of Spanish cuisine, and I think the Mayan Riviera has that perfect blend of, it's got the northern taste, but it has a lot of that South American taste as well. A lot of that Caribbean flavors are included in it. So the food is fantastic. And I really find that, everyone there is just so nice. Even when we go out and we travel around, just because it's, like I said, there's so many people that travel to this area now, that it's like it's geared towards tourists. And when you go on vacation, you like to be pampered. So I always feel like I'm very well pampered and taken care of. And like I said, just the whole general area is so beautiful.
And just just the environment, and the contrast between the inland activities. Obviously there's the Mayan structures that are there, these old archaeological structures, and then you've got the beaches, and then you obviously got the amenities inside a resort as well. So we're definitely going to be touching on each of those topics when we do our comparison. This is, like I said, mine and Sister Lou's favorite way to vacation is going on cruises, and I think a lot of it revolves around, just like you said, Brother Jim, being pampered, right? Being pampered and being able to walk around and see different things within the ship, and have a lot of things really laid out for you in terms of what type of activities. It's a lot more structured, and we're going to talk about that also here in a second. But as far as food and cuisine, I think very comparable to what you were talking about. Very uh, wide variety of different types of cuisine that you can have on board a ship as well. They also have a lot of different choices in terms of the activities that you can participate in. And, a lot of people think, well, then you're stuck on a boat, right? But not entirely. You go through different destinations. You can stop in different places, and it's a way for you to also experience things off the boat as well. But you definitely, if you are a type of person who likes to be able to have a place to kind of run to and be sheltered, like in your cabin or in your room, cruising is also one option for you as well. But let's go down to the list and let's talk about what are the things that really are decision points for people, because you might be planning your vacation for the summer, planning your vacation to just escape this winter we're having, but you're trying to decide, do I go on a cruise or do I not go on a cruise? And one of the things is accommodations. So, Brother Jim, we talked about this right before the show. One of the biggest challenges about being on a ship is you are not going to get that spacious room. I mean, you could pay premium dollars to get maybe what they'll call a suite, but it's still not going to be comparable to probably what you're going to get on a resort, right?
I gotta say, this is like a hands down. I'm gonna put this in my resort win column, just because I know when I stayed my first cruise, I had to go outside of my room to change my mind. It was so small. And I'm a big guy, so the idea of the small showers and I that big reason. The resorts I stayed at, they typically you're going to have a balcony, which on a cruise that gets into premium range a lot of time. But in a resort, there's usually your starting point. You're going to get a nice balcony. You're going to get a nice view. You got usually huge rooms. I've found where I've stayed. So I think, like I said, Brother Robert, I'm putting this one in the
Yeah, yeah.
resort.
Well, you're not too far off, brother Jim. Accommodations definitely. If you are a person who likes a nice, spacious bathroom, where you can lay out all your stuff, and you've got these nice, tub showers or spa bathtubs or something like that, you are not going to get that on a cruise. Being on a cruise ship is akin to probably being in a child's room with
I think it's almost like
that.
RV training, right? If you
I
really
was
Yeah,
gonna ask
exactly.
that. I was gonna ask that. Is it like
So
the size of an RV bathroom?
it
Because
it
that is
could
like
be.
a four
Well,
point turn. You got it like
yeah,
really tight.
but you know what? The one thing though, you can, because more and more cruise ships, and I don't know if you saw in the photo. I mean, there are cruise ships today that are out there by a variety of cruise companies that have suites that are available. And a little hack, if you are looking for something that doesn't make you feel claustrophobic, I know that maybe a few $100s less, but don't go for what they call an interior cabin, because an interior cabin is less expensive, but you're going to be inside. And even though the room itself may be the same size, you're going to feel a lot more claustrophobic because you can't open the windows, you can't see the outside, you don't know where it is you're at. Now, if you're somebody who would prefer to not see the open ocean for thousands of miles, then an interior cabin may be your choice. One cruise line actually is mimicking that, so you get the discounted experience of being in an interior cabin, but they have an LCD panel on the
I was
wall
gonna ask
that
that
actually
too.
and it's a live camera, so you're actually seeing what is happening outside. So you can get the best of both worlds, but definitely for accommodations, brother Jim, this definitely is a check mark for being on an all-inclusive resort. Let's go on to the next is destinations, right? So when you talk about destinations, you have a variety of choices when you're deciding which inclusive resort you want to go to. With a cruise ship, you also get the same thing, but you have to kind of plan it out, right? Because it depends on where that port is going to take you. So tell me a little bit about your favorite destinations, brother Jim.
well, definitely. And I have taken a cruise, and like you said, they're pretty similar because we went to Cancun, and we went by Tulum and different places. And you can get a lot of that destination feel. They have excursions off the ship and off the resort. But I gotta say, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's a lot more restrictive when you're on cruise. And I know for myself, and it's restrictive largely because you're going to get to a particular destination, and that's the time you're going to have to get off the ship. You're going to look, and then you got to get back on the ship, which I always had a little anxiety about maybe missing the ship. Because, if I go out too far or if I start enjoying myself too much, and if y'all haven't noticed, I like to talk. So I can easily find myself hanging out with somebody and realize, hey, I think that's my ship heading
My
back
my
from
ship just passed by. Yeah, that's it's funny because when we're on our cruises, that's actually an event. When we go off board, in port, whether we're on a private island or whether we're on a destination stop, and they tell you, I mean, they make it very clear that that ship is not going to wait for you, and if you're not back at whatever time they tell you, then you can expect to be standing there on the dock waving goodbye. And people will go out on the balconies. We all go out on our balconies because inevitably there's always someone who you get to watch running to try to get to the ship, especially as it's just pulling away. And then everybody just applauds. I don't know why. It's cruel, but they'll applaud because the person didn't make it. And but it's funny. I mean, it's entertainment on the ship for
Extra
you.
entertainment.
Exactly. But as far as destinations go, I think we obviously, being here in Florida, we chose mostly Caribbean destinations that are here. There are also cruises that will take you down into Mexico as well. And for us in the church, of course, it's also very important that we're looking at the schedule and trying to determine, how that fits into our ability to, of course, be able to attend worship service wherever we go. Same thing with you, Brother Jim, when you're looking at these destinations. So maybe the next section that we're going to talk about here is going to be scheduling, right? So with scheduling, again, with a cruise, you have 3-day, you have 4-day, 7-day. Um, there's kind of a variety, but obviously you have to adhere to whatever that schedule is that's published by the cruise company. So there's going to always be the need to have to look at your schedule and know, well, we can attend service on this date, and then we get back, and then we'll be able to attend service when we get back. Just making sure that that kind of fits into that schedule. Where with scheduling for a resort, I don't think you have that kind of a restriction where you've got to do 2 days, 3 days. It's kind of a la carte, right, Brother Jim?
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And they what they have planners, and you basically make a reservation to talk with them early on in your stay, and they lay out all the things that are around that you can. If you're interested in snorkeling, if you want to see historical sites like I showed, if you just want to go shopping, they're going to ask you what you're doing, and they're really like vacation planners, and they show you all the different choices that you have. And a lot of them, you can go out on a bus. You can have just maybe it's just you and some friends, it's something more intimate where you're going out. But it's I love those choices, and almost all of them are, they're including where you should eat, and so they think it all through. Yet, you have that freedom to decide, well, I want this and this, but I don't want this and this. And once again, it's another thing. It's important to me to kind of have that flexibility.
Right, right, and it's important, I think, to anyone who has a schedule that they've got to adhere to be able to have that flexibility. And fortunately, a lot of cruise lines now are offering a much wider variety of scheduling, so that way they can accommodate it. And of course, here in Florida, especially, we've got so many worship services
Mm.
literally throughout the week and the weekends now, that there is a nice selection that you can, and many of them are right close to the port. I know in Miami, the port of Miami is maybe 15 minutes away from from the chapel there in Miami, maybe 20 minutes away from the chapel in Miami. Here we have Cocoa Beach, obviously. So if you attend in Cocoa Beach, you boom, right there. That's the port. And then here in Tampa, we were very fortunate that here in Tampa, where Kalulu and I went on our last cruise, it was actually right out of the port of Tampa. So it's a nice mix, but you do have to definitely plan ahead. Looking at cuisine. Oh, okay. This is where I'm rolling up my sleeves, Brother Jim. Now we're gonna talk about food. So, uh, cuisine is an important part of any vacation, right? And I think for many people, it's about variety. Variety is important. Quality, of course, you got to have good food, because otherwise, why'd you go on a vacation? And then also the availability of eating, because maybe sometimes you just want to eat anytime you want. So tell us a little bit about your experience there, Brother Jim.
Yeah, and we were talking about it, and you were pretty confident this would go into the win column for cruises, but I tell you, the resorts that I've gone to, and I'm wondering if it's in that competitive idea, but they really offer food 24/7. They have a huge variety of food. Usually the resorts I've been have a huge central kitchen that's open 24/7. It has a great variety of anything you can imagine, really, from sandwiches all the way to grilled steak. But then, most of the resorts I've gone to, they'll have themed restaurant, where there's going to be a Thai restaurant, there's going to be a Tex-Mex restaurant, and those are more, where you can decide, I'm going to eat in a restaurant, in a sit-down restaurant. You really want that dining experience. But I really liked it, and of course I've been on a cruise. I love cruises. They have great food. I will say this. I thought I was going to eat my fill of lobster, and I was on a cruise, and they ran out, and that was, you know,
Sorry, that was my fault. Yeah.
No.
I ordered two. I asked for extra. So, well, and that's true because whenever you go, and of course not to be a glutton, but you go there because you want to be able to try all the different types of food, and I'm sure your experience at the resort you stayed at, along with ours, you just get so many different choices available to you, 24 hours a day, literally, and that's one of the big factors in cruising. Entertainment is another big thing, brother Jim. We have to consider, and I know we're getting down to the bottom of the hour for us, but I just want to kind of fly through a couple of these. We obviously have entertainment choices at both resorts and on cruise ships. Activities. I think definitely for activities, if you're more of a regimented schedule kind of person, then a cruise ship is probably good for you because it'll give you a very solid list of things to do. On a resort where you're not uh, confined to the boat, you get to choose what activities you want to go on. You want to go on a long hike and you want to be gone all day. You don't have to worry about the resort packing up and leaving you. Right. So it's definitely a lot more flexible when it comes to that. And then of course, finally, service. Service is such a big thing. I think brother Jim, both on the cruise ships and on resorts, they are fighting for your business,
I,
which
I
means,
I
right?
felt so good. And like I said, you feel so pampered and taken care of. And in both environments, there seems like there's always someone there to make sure you're happy, content, and you're getting what you're wanting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are down to the bottom of the hour. We're so sorry. We're going to need an hour to talk about vacations because all of us want to go on a vacation.
Yeah.
And it's been tough, but thank you so much for joining us today on INC Radio Florida. This is Brother Robert here in Tampa, for Brother Jim, who's there in Pensacola, for Sister Charisse, who's also there in Pensacola, and for Sister Maricel, who's also from Tampa, joining us today, though, kind of hanging out there in Orlando. We're so glad you're able to join us. Please, we're going to read your comments and comment back to you in the chat. But for now, we hope you enjoy your Saturday. Please join us next week. But for now, stay tuned. INC Radio Caribbean coming up next.